Okay, welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're tearing down the absolute beating heart of high-fidelity audio. We're looking at a component so legendary and so heavily relied upon by audio engineers around the world that it's literally spawned its own massive counterfeit market. I'm talking about the 2SA1943 Power Transistor. If you've ever felt the deep thump of a high-end subwoofer or been blown away by the crystal-clear highs of a professional PA system, there is a very, very good chance you were listening to this exact piece of silicon doing its job. Here is our roadmap for today. 1. The heart of hi-fi. 2. Specs and pins. 3. Mechanics. 4. Applications and limits. And 5. Best replacements. Let's get right to it.
All right, part 1. The heart of hi-fi. The legendary PNP Power Transistor.
So let's talk about the legacy of the 2SA1943 itself. This is hands down one of the most popular bipolar junction transistors out there, and it was designed from the ground up for one thing: high-fidelity audio power amplifiers. Seriously, when you look at amp designs ranging from a solid 100 watts all the way up to 500 watts, this transistor is always the star of the show. To immediately grasp the sheer raw power this tiny component handles, consider this. It boasts a massive power dissipation of 150 watts. Think about a 150-watt light bulb's worth of heat being managed by a single, discrete component. This single number tells you right away that we aren't dealing with some delicate little microchip here. We're dealing with the heavy lifting muscle of the audio world. Moving on to part 2, specifications and pin configuration. Let's look under the hood of the 2SA1943. Check out these numbers from the Toshiba datasheet, because they're honestly staggering. Notice the combination of extreme limits here. Pay special attention to that massive negative 230 volts for the collector-emitter voltage and a collector current of negative 15 amps. Now, because this is a PNP transistor, we're dealing with negative voltage and current values, but the absolute magnitude is just huge. Oh, and it also maintains a really fast transition frequency of 30 megahertz. That means it can switch incredibly quickly for such a high-powered device, which is exactly what keeps your audio signal pristine and totally distortion-free. Now, if you're physically holding one of these things, that black rectangular plastic and metal TO3P package, the layout is super straightforward. If you hold it with the text facing you, you have the base on the left, the collector in the middle, and the emitter on the right. And you know that large metal tab on the back? That's actually electrically tied directly to the collector. That metal tab is absolutely critical because it's the superhighway that pulls all that 150 watts of heat away from the silicon and dumps it into a heatsink. Section 3. Step-by-step current amplification. From microscopic electrons to massive sound. It's time to shift from the macro to the micro and geek out on the actual physics for a second. The crucial point here is that because it's a PNP transistor, the amplification magic doesn't actually start until the base voltage drops about 0.6 to 0.7 volts below the emitter voltage. Unlike an NPN transistor where you push a positive voltage to turn it on, this PNP device wants its base pulled lower than its emitter. It's kind of like a lock, and that 0.7 volt differential is the exact key you need to open the gate. So how exactly does a tiny trickle of current turn into a massive wall of sound? Let's walk step by step through these 4 distinct phases of operation. Okay, steps 1 and 2. Initially, when the base voltage is basically equal to the emitter voltage, there's zero base current. The collector current is totally blocked. It acts literally just like an open light switch on your wall. But the second we hit that 0.7 volt drop we just talked about, boom! The base emitter junction becomes forward biased, and suddenly, a tiny, small base current starts sneaking into the transistor. Then we get to step 3, and this is where the real heavy lifting happens. A very small base current starts controlling a much, much larger collector current. For example, let's say you apply a microscopic 50 milliamp current to the base. If we assume a typical DC current gain, or HFE, of 80, that tiny input is multiplied into a roaring 4 amp collector current. 50 milliamps in, 4 whole amps out. That massive multiplication is exactly why we use this based in high-power output stages. So how is it multiplying that current physically? Well, inside those 3 PNP semiconductor layers, we have 2 junctions. During normal operation, the forward-biased emitter injects charge carriers into this incredibly thin middle layer, the base. But because the base is so thin, those carriers just don't hang around. They are brilliantly swept up by the reverse-biased collector-base junction. the collector just grabs them, allowing that tiny little base current to act like a traffic cop, entirely dictating this massive flow of electrons. And this brilliantly illustrates the dance of Class AB amplifiers, which brings us to step 4. You rarely see the 2SA1943 working a solo gig. It's basically always paired up with its complementary NPN transistor, the 2SC5200. The NPN partner handles the positive swing of the audio waveform, and our PNP handles the negative swing. They work together in perfect, seamless symmetry to recreate the complete audio waveform, with incredibly low distortion. It really is like a beautifully choreographed dance. Section 4. Applications, Advantages, and Limitations. Let's look at the big picture of power amplification.
Zooming back out to the real world for a second, where do we actually use this thing? The short answer, anywhere you need to move a ton of air through a speaker. You'll find this incredibly versatile component serving as the backbone for everything from 500-watt DJ amplifiers and massive Pro PA systems down to your living room home theater amps and active subwoofers. And actually, because of its super reliable linear regulation, it's even used in heavy-duty laboratory power supplies. Its legendary status across all these applications is totally well-earned. The 2SA1943 offers unmatched audio quality and linearity. We already touched on its crazy high 230-volt and 15-amp headroom, but it also gives you phenomenal thermal stability. That means even as it heats up during a long gig, its electrical characteristics stay predictable, which is vital for good audio. Plus, again, that blazing fast 30 MHz switching speed ensures absolute high fidelity.
But it isn't totally invincible. You do have to design around a few quirks. First off, because of that 150-watt dissipation, you absolutely must use a massive, properly mounted heatsink. Second, it requires exact biasing in your circuit to prevent crossover distortion, which is that ugly little audio blip when the signal hands off from the NPN to the PNP. It's also slightly slower than some modern MOSFETs. But honestly, the most frustrating limitation today, you have to be super vigilant about buying from authorized suppliers. The market is absolutely flooded with fake parts that will literally just go up in smoke the second you put a heavy load on them. Which brings us to Section 5, finding the best replacements in navigating modern audio design. So here's the harsh reality for audio nerds right now. Toshiba recently marked this beloved part as not recommended for new design. While existing stock is still floating around out there, what do you do to keep future projects alive without having to completely redesign your amp? Well, obviously the best fix is finding a verified original. But beyond that, the NJW0302G is a fantastic drop-in for premium amps. The MJL1302A offers killer linearity for pro audio, and actually, Toshiba's own modern TTA1943 family is designed to drop right in with the same electrical characteristics, meaning you won't need to make any circuit modifications at all. But even as we pivot to newer silicon and modern replacements, you just can't deny its impact. The 2SA1943 is universally recognized as one of the most respected audio power transistors ever produced, period. It set the absolute gold standard for delivering clean, low-distortion audio with bulletproof reliability when it's properly heat-synced and biased. So, knowing that its manufacturer is officially moving on, yet hardware hackers and audiophiles are still fiercely hunting down original stock, it makes you ask a bigger question about the future. As amps get smaller and Class D and newer MOSFET technologies continue to take over, will the golden, warm era of BJT output stages ever truly be replaced in the hearts and ears of listeners? That's definitely something to chew on next time you crank up the volume. Thanks for joining me in this explainer, and keep on learning.